How well do you think your team has done so far this season? Well, I'm going to be giving my Premier League team rating so far this season, including Cardiff City, who are managed by the Monosaurus Rex, Zaha FC, where Benteke will soon be taking corners, Manchester United, who have massively underachieved at the Theatre of Nightmares. So guys, we're going to do this bottom upwards. We're going to start in the relegation zone and work our way up. So we'll start with Cardiff, Newcastle and Huddersfield. These three teams occupy the bottom three. Newcastle and Cardiff have 2 points, but Cardiff have a worse goal difference. Huddersfield sit in 18th. For me, guys, these are all around the same rating. Cardiff, new team up, haven't spent big in the transfer market, haven't signed big players or anything, and they already expected just to survive relegation zone be the greatest thing in the world. So for me, Cardiff so far out of 10, 6.5. Newcastle United finished 10th last season, but Rafa Benitez did a fantastic job with the players he had. However, they haven't really built on that this season, and teams coming up like Fulham and Wolves have spent some good money and showed that they're ready for the Premier League, or at least trying to be. So for me, Newcastle, 5 out of 10. They didn't do much in the transfer market, but one thing they did do was sell Mitrovic, and that to me is a big mistake considering how he has performed in the Premier League so far. Moving on to Huddersfield, they were also one of the promoted teams last season and they did fantastic to stay up. However, expectations now increase a little bit after staying up in the first season, and second season syndrome starts to kick in. For me, I do think they deserve a 6 out of 10 so far because they have got 3 points, they are close to getting out of the relegation zone, and it's very early on in the season for these three teams. But for me, Huddersfield do deserve a 6 out of 10. Now moving on to 16th and 17th, and Southampton and Fulham occupy those spots. Fulham sitting 17th, Southampton sitting 16th. The only difference between these two is that Southampton has got a lot more Premier League experience. However, Fulham have spent big in the transfer market. So if we start with Fulham, they've spent big. They spent about 100 million, but with the style of football they play and all these players having to gel, it does leave them wide open for counter-attacks and conceding a lot of goals. And so far, that is what they have done. However, they have accumulated 5 points so far this season, and if I was a Fulham fan, I'd rate my team a 6 out of 10 because you're not bothered as long as you stay up, and I'm sure Fulham will want to stay up. If they don't, they could suffer the consequences of spending big in the transfer market. For Southampton, they did buy some decent players, a defender in that as well, for like 20 million or something like that. So they did spend big in a way. However, I don't think they spent fantastically big. I thought Southampton will get relegated, and that is still a possibility. So far this season, I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10 because they're 16th, and that isn't bad at all for them. Now moving on to 15th and 14th, we have West Ham and Crystal Palace, both on 7 points again, but Palace with the better goal difference. So West Ham sit 15th and Palace sit 14th. For West Ham, they did spend big in the transfer market. They were another one. Pellegrini came in, spent big on Felipe Anderson, Jack Wilshere, even though he was a free. They went out, spent big. I don't know all the players are signed, but yeah, they spent big. And so far this season, it hasn't really paid off the way they would have wanted. So for that reason, I'm going to have to give West Ham a 5 out of 10. I think expectations-wise, they expect it to be a lot further up the table. For Crystal Palace, I mean, Zaha FC, they're too busy relying on Zaha and that for goals, and it's not quite coming off for them, not scoring a home goal yet this season. However, they are sitting 14th, which isn't too bad, but expectations-wise, I do think they want to push a bit further up. So for me, a 5.5 out of 10. Next up is Brighton and Burnley. These are 13th and 12th, both on 8 points. Burnley had a very terrible start to the season, but have soon picked up their game. Meanwhile, Brighton, they haven't won many games so far this season, but the games they have won have been big games, including one against Manchester United, which, let's be honest, isn't hard. So for Brighton sitting in 13th, I think expectations-wise, I was expecting them to go down. I thought they'd suffer from second season syndrome, because Hugh so far is doing a fantastic job, and for me, they deserve an 8 out of 10. For Burnley, they're on the same sort of lines. Yes, they qualified for Europa League last season, where they got to travel down to Aberdeen, all those miles down to Aberdeen so far this season. But let's be honest, I do think that Burnley fans didn't expect to reach them heights again because I thought the Europa League would affect their Premier League football. So far this season, I'll give them a 7 out of 10. Now moving towards the top half of the Premier League, we have 11th and 10th place, which is Everton and Leicester. Now Everton spent big again, 50 million on Richarlison. Not a bad signing at all for a half a season guy. Not bad money for Watford either. And Leicester, who have already won the Premier League in the last couple of seasons and want to try and not exactly win the Premier League season again in the next couple of years, but establish themselves as a good top 8 team and consistently get up there. A team like Spurs, for example. So far, Everton, I'd have to give them a 6 out of 10. I think because of the money they've spent and Marco Silva and the style of football and that, they would have hoped to be a little bit higher up, maybe even in about 8th or something like that. However, they are currently sitting 11th, so they will be a bit disappointed. For Leicester, on the other hand, I think they'll probably be alright with where they are at the moment. Nothing special, nothing too bad. So I'm giving them a 7.5 out of 10. They want to finish in the top half of the table, and so far they will just be doing that. Now this is really where it does get interesting. In 9th and 8th spot, we've got two teams on 13 points each. Watford and Manchester United. Man United have got a better goal difference, but it's still in the minuses, and Watford, probably because they got thumped 4-0 by Bournemouth last weekend. For me though, Watford, a top 10 finish would be fantastic, especially if they finish 9th, and I think 8 out of 10 is not bad at all, especially for a team that don't know how to keep a manager for more than a year. For Man United, Mourinho wasn't the right fit in my opinion, and they have really underachieved this season. At Old Trafford, they've got 2 wins, one of them being last week. Before that, they hadn't won at home in 2 months against teams like Derby, Wolves, and I don't know many of the other teams that actually went there, to be honest, but it's disappointing. So for me, Watford deserve an 8 out of 10, Manchester United 4 out of 10. Moving on to 7 and 6, and we've got Porto FC. I mean Wolves. Let's get it right. It's Wolves. It's basically Porto, but it's Wolves and Bournemouth. Now Bournemouth have done fantastic so far this season. I think Eddie Howe is a fantastic manager, and he showed how good he really is. For Wolves, one of the only new promoted teams that are not fighting a relegation battle at the moment and are sitting in 7th. It is my team. I love watching us. I think we're exciting, and I think we've added something different to the Premier League. For me though guys, for Wolves, I'm giving us an 8 out of 10. Yes, expectations wise we expected mid-table. I expected about 12th, something like that, so we have overachieved than what I thought we would on that, and signings have been fantastic. But for Bournemouth, didn't spend big in the transfer window at all, and yet 16 points from the first 8 games of the season. That is absolute fantastic, and I'm giving Bournemouth a 9 out of 10. Now moving on to the top 5, and we'll start with 5th and 4th place, Tottenham and Arsenal, the two London main rivals, Tottenham and Arsenal. While Spurs are sitting in 5th, Arsenal sitting in 4th, both on 18 points, and both just off the top of the Premier League, which is fantastic for both of them. Tottenham, I think because they've always consistently managed to be in this spot for the last couple of years and play lovely football and that as well, it's a little bit more disappointing. But for Arsenal fans, after last season with Arsene Wenger, actually after the last couple of seasons with Arsene Wenger, this is fantastic for them to actually be playing some good football, some good attractive football, and winning 9 games in a row. Yeah, they're a bit sorted that Unai Emery didn't win Manager of the Month and Nuno did instead, but hey, you know, what does Manager of the Month actually mean? If you win Manager of the Month and then finish in the relegation zone, it means nothing. So don't worry about it, Arsenal fans. But for me, guys, Spurs 7.5 out of 10, but Arsenal fans 8.5 out of 10. And last but not least, for top of the Premier League table, where it is actually all joint. 8 games in and we haven't got a runaway leader. Liverpool are in 3rd place, Chelsea are in 2nd place, Man City in 1st place, all on 20 points. What a fantastic season this could be. For Liverpool, I think this is they want a challenge for the title, and this could be their season. They've never had such a good opportunity with the players they've got. So for me, I'm giving them a 9 out of 10. Not just because of that, but in the transfer market, they signed players that they needed. Keita, for instance, is fantastic in midfield. Probably pronounced his name wrong, but hey-oh. Goalkeeper Alisson, they needed a good goalkeeper, they've got it. And Van Dijk last season and signed him. Fantastic sign as well, and they've strengthened where they really needed to strengthen. So 9 out of 10 for me with Liverpool. Chelsea, they always seem to do well when in the new manager's first season, so that's nothing different, but they're still doing fantastically well, and they have beat some top teams as well, such as Arsenal, who probably needed that loss to get onto a good start. So for me, Chelsea, 8.5 out of 10. This might annoy some Man City fans, but I'm giving Man City an 8 out of 10. So at the top 3, I'm giving them the least. Why? The expectations of last season, surely they had to increase. To want the league like they did last season, and now to slip up a few times, such as against Wolves, and at Anfield as well. So away from home, they have slipped up twice by only drawing those games, which, let's be honest, they should have beat Liverpool because they had that penalty. And they could have beat Wolves as well, but they didn't. So would they want to... they're just not hitting the heights of last season, I guess what I'm getting at. So I'm giving them an 8 out of 10. Anyway guys, that is it from me today. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you're new, then hit the subscribe button. And let me know in the comment section your ratings for the Premier League teams so far this season. And let me know how you think your team are getting on. And I'll speak to you guys later.